So YouTube, it's been a while. This video, I don't want it to stretch out too far, but it's basically a video kind of explaining where I've been, and well, basically what the thumbnail shows. I got a new toy. Now it is the GTX 1070, and it's the ASUS Turbo Edition. And this video, I was also going to show some benchmarks, but a lot of the reason I haven't been uploading lately has been because I've been using this graphics card. It's insane. I got it for my birthday off my sister. Funny story, I was expecting the 1060 and I got the 1070 because she said they ran out of 1060s. Well, I wasn't expecting the 1060, I was actually saving up for my own, and she knew that, and she actually went out of her way to buy me a 1070, which was great. Just before the clips start, I just want to talk about my processor. I've got an FX 8350 at 4GHz, and it is bottlenecking, I think, a bit, and especially in some very CPU demanding games. It's only made one game I've played unplayable, and I've looked online for a day. Spent a whole day trying to find a fix, and I just couldn't find one. And there's thousands of other people that had the same problem, so I don't think it's really the bottleneck. I think it's more of the game port. But I think if it is bottlenecking, it's only bottlenecking about 10 frames. I can't imagine it's insanely bottlenecking or anything like that. But another reason I haven't been uploading lately is because my processor broke. I went to upgrade my cooler because if many of you know it, because many of you have probably noticed my old computer cooler sounded like a fucking jet engine. So I changed that, and I bent pins on my processor. So I spent about 4 days bending all the pins back. It was pretty scary. So I'm just going to get right into the benchmarks now. Again, it's so nice not having to compromise on frames or graphics. I just get to max everything out with a decent frame rate. So I'll show that in the video now. So Black Ops 3, this is a game I couldn't max out before. I played it on near enough lowest settings at about 60 to 40 frames on my old graphics card. It dipped a fair bit when stuff was going on. But on this new graphics card, it runs beautifully. Fully maxed out, even anti-aliasing, all maxed out, and I get 100 to 70 frames, very rarely dipping to 70, and I never saw it go lower. I think I saw it go to 70 about 3 times in whole gameplay. I'm not too sure. But it felt so smooth while playing, and honestly the frame rate made me so much better at the game, which I'm very happy about. But yeah, not much to go over. Game runs fine as you expect, no hiccup, just silky smooth. Okay, this is Forza now. Forza I had a bit of a problem with. It only ran about 40 frames, but then I checked the graphics settings and it did default everything to ultra settings, but it also defaulted it to 4K, and I was playing for about 20 minutes I think on 4K. And then I decided to bump it down to 1080p, and I only had about a 10 FPS boost when I put it down to 1080p. I'm not sure if I did something wrong, or if that's just the hit because of the VRAM on the card and it can run 4K in this game easily. But I'm just so confused. I don't know if there's a 60 FPS cap too, because when I was at 1080p I couldn't reach past 50 frames. So yeah, it was just a bit confusing. If any of you know why I didn't lose much when I went up to 4K, please do tell me, because I only have a 1080p monitor and I think that could have been an issue. But again, my old graphics card couldn't run this game at all, even on the lowest settings, and now this one can run it maxed out pretty well. So that's good. This is only the demo. I'm not sure if I'm going to get the full game. I enjoy it, but none of my friends have it, unfortunately. DayZ. Now, DayZ is a game most of you probably know me for, and that's how you found my channel. Now, this game ran fantastically. I've seen some points a 50 plus FPS boost. In cities I get about 40 frames, sometimes dipping to 30. And sometimes going up to 60. This is the new military outpost between Slet and Novo. Probably saying one of those wrong. It got about 40 frames here, 50, sometimes went up to 60. And I think there's a lot of cars to render in here and stuff, so I'm not 100% mad with that. But as you can see, in the minute when I run off to the trees, I do reach up to about 100 frames in the trees. And that's basically the same for anywhere in the north. I reach all the way up to about 100 frames to around between 60 and 100 at least, and even at the northwest, and no stutter, no lag when I'm in gunfights now, which is a big reason why I stopped playing on my old graphics card, because I would always drop in gunfights and stuff like that, and it was really irritating. But yeah, it runs fine. I was actually quite shocked on the improvement on this game, since Bohemian Interactive games, usually known for being very CPU intensive, but having a new graphics card improved it so much. Overwatch, probably my most played game at the moment. This game ran beautifully on epic settings. The very top settings all maxed out, all at epic. And I was getting, most of the time you get about 190 FPS, sometimes 80, but when shit does hit the fan, it can drop to about 60. I never see it go to actually 60. It went to about 65, couldn't feel it because I only have a 60Hz monitor, but I only just saw it when watching the video back. But this is literally everything maxed out, and again, Reinhardt is quite an in-the-face character, so a lot of shit is going on in this clip. And I think if you do have a 144Hz monitor, no matter what settings no matter what graphics card you got, I don't think you would be expecting to play epic at 144 frames. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't really fiddle around with the settings in any of these games. But I think if you turn it down to about ultra high, mix of in the between, maybe even ultra high and maybe some epic settings, you'll probably reach that 144 FPS you want. But Overwatch, it felt like it is a game that fluctuates in frame rate because the amount of times it could be an idle battle where nothing really is happening, or it could be shitting the fan and everything's fucking happening. I'm not going to spend too long on CSGO because it is very, very, very easy to run. Again, in comp games, I've only recorded deathmatch, but in comp games I was getting about 250, 300 FPS. And in this deathmatch server, I was getting about 150 FPS in between. Sometimes it was going higher, sometimes it was going lower. But again, CSGO max settings, piece of piss to run. I wasn't even going to put this in here, but I thought I might as well. GTA. Now, GTA is a game I'm loving playing on this graphics card. It's fucking beautiful. I've never seen a game as eye-pleasing as this that I have on my library. That's personally anyway. I think it looks so great all around. Very few graphic bugs that I find, which just improves to it. And now this video is fully maxed out. Like anti-aliasing, I know a lot of people recommend you put anti-aliasing off, but this is fully maxed out. And the game for me ran fantastically. Other than when driving, it did dip to about 40 frames rarely while driving, so it dipped to 50 a lot. I didn't feel it, I only saw it when watching it back. But again, compromising on some of the rendering settings, you're most likely going to reach that perfect 60 all the time. But again, I didn't want to compromise, so I just maxed everything out. And I did look online afterwards and have seen that even Titan X's 1080s struggle to max this game out fully and then be able to drive around. You may question me on that, but it's true. Like, watch a benchmark on GTA, fully maxed out with anti-aliasing on max, and you won't see it stay at 60, especially while driving. But just to summarize this game up, it does look fantastic, especially when it rains. The reflections just look insane, and it does bring a life to the game. I know that it's quite, I guess it does piss people off because they say like graphics doesn't make a game, but having this graphics in a game does make you want to constantly come back and play it more. I'm also going to quickly go over The Division, not too long. Fully maxed out, 60 FPS, perfect. I only saw it drop twice in 10 hours of playing, and I saw it drop twice. That was when loading into a new area and then running around for the first couple of steps. Other than that, locked 60. I couldn't ever get it to go above 60. I even put it on the lowest settings and it wouldn't go above 60. And I had VSync and frame rate cap off, so I think it just automatically locks to your monitor's refresh rate. But again, no point going over it. The game looks insane. One of the best looking games I've ever played. And I think that was the reason I put a lot of time into the free weekend, because it did look bloody fantastic while playing, and the frame rates were brilliant as well. So, and the final game I'm testing in this video is Rust. Now, Rust was a weird game. When I first got it, I got it for a Christmas present off a friend, and I was playing it about on a 150 player server. That's how many people were on the server, and I was playing at beautiful settings, and I was getting about 60 frames, and it was dipping a lot. Like, not a lot, but dipping every so often. And I was like, well, this is quite upsetting. I've just got this card, and it's dipping every 5 minutes. I think like 5 minutes is an exaggeration, but it was dipping a fair bit. But then me and my friends decided to switch over to a quieter server to learn the game a bit more. And this server had about 50 players in, and I was getting locked 70, 90, even 100 frames. Like, it would not budge it sometimes, and then it would just jump up to 90 and hover around there. Then it would go down to 70 and just stay there, and then whatnot. But it ran so well, and it just made me want to play the game more and more and more. It felt so smooth. When the frames did, it was weird when it fluctuated because it went to 70, stayed there for a while, then jumped up to 90, stayed there for like 10 minutes, then jumped up to about 110, stayed there for 10 minutes, then jumped back down to 70, so it's weird. But I did look online, it is somewhat of an unoptimized game, it's getting better, but I think a lot of the reason I was getting lower FPS and stutter in a bigger server was because you couldn't walk 2 feet without seeing a base, which personally I just don't really enjoy. I prefer having about 50 players on the server, not being rare to come across a base, but when you do, you kind of recognize it, if you know what I mean. Anyway, that's the end of the video now. Thank you all for watching. I've actually got 2 videos ready to go up that I've been recording footage of that I just haven't had time to edit because I'm too busy trying out this graphics card. I've still got so many more games I can test it on, but it's just making all my other more demanding games so much more compelling to play. But one thing I just want to say before the video ends, if you want me to have an FPS counter in the top left hand corner for a couple more of my videos, then just say, or if you want me to test a particular game and if I have it, then I will test it and I'll upload it as a short. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I no longer have a potato PC, so that's a plus.